In this editorial, we will discuss the progress being made across the world for developing coronavirus vaccine. Title is Cautious Optimism. What is optimism? Optimism is when you are full of hope. So many experts are full of hope that by the end of 2021 we will be able to develop coronavirus vaccine. But editorial says we need to be alert, we need to be vigilant, cautious optimism, that we should not be in a hurry to develop coronavirus vaccine. As the race for vaccines gathers pace, pace means speed. So every country is trying to make its own coronavirus vaccine. The follow-up period should not be shortened. Editorial gives one warning that the follow-up period should not be shortened. What is follow-up period? Follow-up period means to check repeatedly. We have developed coronavirus vaccine and now we have given treatment to a patient. Then that patient must be checked again and again. That patient must be monitored closely. And that time period should not be shortened. We should not reduce that time period. It means coronavirus vaccine testing should be done repeatedly. With the novel coronavirus continuing to spread across continents, the race to find effective drugs and vaccines has been progressing at a blistering pace. Pace means speed and blistering means extremely fast. As we can see that coronavirus is rapidly spreading all over the world and every country is trying at its best, to try to invent coronavirus vaccine. Never before have candidate vaccine. Candidate means suitable. So every country is trying to invent a suitable vaccine for coronavirus. Never before have candidate vaccines been developed from scratch. When you develop something from scratch means you develop it from zero level. You develop it from ground level. Tested on animals and completed early stages of human clinical trials. Trials means testing. All under 6 months. So in the history of we can say that in the history of humanity, it is being done first time. That everything that you are developing a vaccine, you are testing it on animals, you are conducting its human clinical, and within 6 months, if normally candidate vaccines take at least a few years to reach the stage of clinical evaluation. Clinical evaluation means final analysis, final assessment. So whenever scientists try to develop any new vaccine, so it takes years, but here we have completed all process within 6 months. So editorial says that we should not move at such a rapid pace. We should cautiously move. We should take cautious effort. Some experts are cautiously optimistic. It means some experts optimistically believe that they are full of hope that by the end of the year or early 2021, by the end of this year 2020 or early 2021, the world might know if one or more vaccines are safe and effective, and vaccines might even become available. So possibility is that by the end of this year we may get coronavirus vaccine and it may be available to ordinary people. Even in the case of the Ebola vaccine. But the only concern here is we are moving too fast. It means we are in a hurry. Just in 6 months we have conducted all the process. So editorial wants to say that adequate testing is necessary. Even in the case of Ebola vaccine tested during the 2014 outbreak in Guinea. So when Ebola virus came in existence, outbreak means when any disease spreads quickly, it is called outbreak. So during the time of Ebola outbreak, research and animal studies had been conducted prior to the outbreak. Research and animal studies to develop Ebola virus vaccine was conducted before the outbreak of the disease. Next, in the H1N1 vaccine, when we developed H1N1 vaccine, the well-developed influenza-based technology enabled quick development. What is the meaning of enabled? Enabled means to make something possible, to make something possible, but not before the pandemic peaked. Pandemic means a widely spread disease. Okay, so we can call coronavirus a pandemic. Peak, what is peak? To reach at highest level. So editorial says that we invented H1N1 vaccine, but it took a long time. It took time. So when that H1N1 pandemic reached to the highest level, then we were able to invent the H1N1 vaccine. But in the case of novel coronavirus, as far as novel coronavirus is concerned, novel means new. Okay, novel coronavirus. Why we are calling coronavirus novel is because it is new. 24 candidate vaccines are already in clinical evaluation. Clinical evaluation means we can say that final assessment, final examination. 24 candidates suitable vaccines have been identified for clinical evaluation, and another 142 are in the pre-clinical evaluation stage. So you can say that clinical evaluation means final stage, and pre-clinical evaluation stage means you can say semi-final stage or pre-final stage. So you see how much hurry we are showing. You can see that how much rapidly we are progressing for coronavirus vaccine. That 24 vaccines are available for clinical evaluation and 142 are already in queue. With most countries managing to only flatten the curve. What is the meaning of flatten the curve? You just see the coronavirus. So patients are increasing day by day. So the coronavirus curve is going like that. Okay. So flatten the curve means to reduce the number of coronavirus patients. To reduce the number of coronavirus patients. So this is the meaning of flatten the curve. It means we should try to reduce the coronavirus patients, number of coronavirus patients. So most countries managing, so you can say that every country is trying to reduce the number of coronavirus patients. The possibility of new surge means when something increases, you call it surge. The possibility of new surges cannot be dismissed. You cannot rule out. Dismiss means rule out. You cannot rule out that okay, it is good that every country is trying to flatten the curve, but still the possibility is there that coronavirus patients might increase. There is overwhelming evidence. What is overwhelming? Overwhelming means when any emotion or any event affects you strongly, it is called overwhelming. When any emotion captures you completely or when any event captures you completely, it is called overwhelming. There is overwhelming evidence that protection and herd immunity. What is herd? Herd means a group of people or a group of animal. It is called herd. So herd immunity, here you can say that collective immunity. So there is overwhelming evidence that protection and herd immunity can be achieved only through vaccination. Okay. If we want protection from coronavirus, then it can be achieved only through vaccination. Vaccination is the ultimate treatment. One candidate vaccine, I am telling you again and again, candidate means suitable. Candidate vaccine means suitable vaccine developed by China using a recombinant common cold virus. The name of virus is adenovirus. It is a common cold virus, and one word is also there, recombinant. Recombinant means containing genetically developed DNA. So China has one virus named adenovirus, and this adenovirus has been developed and it contains genetically developed DNA as a vector. So what is vector? Vector means an insect that carries a disease. Vector means an insect that carries a disease as a vector to ferry the genetic material of the coronavirus to ferry. What is ferry? Ferry means to move people or things from one place to another. To move people or things from one place to another repeatedly. It is called ferry. The genetic material of coronavirus. So try to understand. It's not a understanding of English, it's understanding of science. So China is using adenovirus. China is using adenovirus as a vehicle, as a vector to transport the genetic material of coronavirus. To transport the genetic material of coronavirus, China is using a vector. China is using adenovirus as a vector. So it was China developed a vaccine using this adenovirus, was on June 25. So the candidate vaccine was developed on June 25, approved, and the official permission was given for use exclusively. Exclusively means only and only for someone, exclusively by the military for 1 year. Exclusively by the military for 1 year. So China has developed one vaccine using adenovirus, and who can use this vaccine? Only military for 1 year. The approval was based on limited safety and efficacy. Efficacy means effectiveness. Results from phase 1 and phase 2 trials. Trial means experiment. So why China gave its approval? Why China gave its approval, or why China gave permission? China gave permission based on limited safety, that this vaccine was, you cannot say that this vaccine is completely safe, and efficacy results. But when this vaccine, which was developed through adenovirus, the vaccine which was developed by using adenovirus. So we conducted its test in phase 1 and phase 2, and based on this testing, phase 1 and phase 2, that China allowed it, that we can use this vaccine for military purpose. The phase 3 trial for vaccine efficacy means effectiveness, and safety is yet to begin. So that you must know that when we develop any vaccine for any virus, it should be tested regularly, that stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So here you can say that China's coronavirus vaccine has cleared phase 1 and phase 2, but phase 3 is still to be conducted as per preliminary results. So we can say that whatever the results are available now, the Oxford University vaccine, which too uses an adenovirus, So Oxford University also, the Oxford University is also trying to develop coronavirus vaccine using adenovirus. So what it found, Oxford University, what it found, has been found to be safe. So they found that preliminary results are safe and immunogenic. What is immunogenic? Immunogenic means that produces immunity. Immunogenic means that produces immunity in a phase 1-2 trial, phase 1 or phase 2 trials. So we can say that Oxford University also found that the coronavirus vaccine is working, and it is producing immunity in people. A phase 3 trial is underway. When something is underway means the work is going on, we are still working on it. So phase 3, or you can say that stage 3 experiment is going on. A US based company along with NIAID has found its vaccine that uses messenger RNA platform. So it is also a science term. What is messenger RNA? What is the work of messenger RNA? Messenger RNA carry encoded genetic information copied from DNA. Again, listen again. Encoded genetic information copied from DNA. This is the work of messenger RNA. So you can say that one more company from US based means a US company, and along with NIAID, so working vaccine that uses messenger RNA platform. So in this in this vaccine which is being developed by US based company, messenger RNA is being used to be safe and immunogenic in phase 1. So that this company, US based company which is developing coronavirus virus, they also found that in phase 1 trial it is okay, this vaccine is safe. A phase 3 trial is to begin later this month. After this month, phase 3 trial will be started. Interim results, interim means temporary. Temporary results show that another vaccine candidate using the messenger RNA platform is safe and immunogenic. Temporary results, whatever the results we have at present, they show that the coronavirus vaccine is safe. Interim means temporary results. Temporary results show that another vaccine candidate using the messenger RNA, one more vaccine which is also using messenger RNA platform, okay, it's safe and immunogenic. Immunogenic means that vaccine is producing, that vaccine is making immune system of people strong in a phase 1 or phase 2 trial, phase 1 and phase 2 experiment. Two Indian companies too have begun human clinical trials. As far as India is concerned, two Indian companies have also started doing human clinical trial, human clinical experimentation. There is thus cause for cheer. It means there is a reason to be happy. There is thus cause for cheer. There is a reason to be happy. Means everywhere, wherever we are trying, we are getting success. Like China developed a vaccine and stage 1 and stage 2 were successful. Then US based company developed a vaccine, and it is also that experts are saying that phase 1 and phase 2 is successful, and also some Indian companies are also working on it. Next. However, a note of caution is also in order, but editorial says that we must remain vigilant. A note of caution is also in order. Past experiences with vaccine development for two coronaviruses, SARS and MERS. These were two, you can say that coronavirus related disease, SARS and MERS, have shown that vaccines can exacerbate. You see the word exacerbate. What is the meaning of exacerbate? Exacerbate means to make a bad situation worse. To make a bad situation worse. It is called exacerbate. Exacerbate lung disease either directly or as a result of antibody dependent enhancement. So editorial says that sometimes what happens when we generate a vaccine, against any virus, but sometimes we can see side effect of that vaccine. Sometimes we can see side effects of that vaccine, and what may be the results? That this vaccine can increase lung disease either directly or as a result of antibody dependent enhancement. Enhancement means to increase the value or amount of something, enhancement. What is antibody? Antibody is a type of protein. Antibody is a type of protein developed in your body and which protects you from attack of virus. It is called antibody. So what we do when we create any vaccine? We try to develop antibody against that virus. We try to develop antibody inside a human against that virus. But sometimes it happen that due to side effects, the problem is aggravated. Aggravated means problem becomes worse. Okay, so we should be alert. So that is the only concern of editorial. Thus, the compulsion to rigorously means strictly. Compulsion means it should be compulsory. The compulsion to rigorously monitor means you should see or you should watch closely. Monitor safety profiles of candidate vaccines cannot be overemphasized. What is the meaning of overemphasize? Overemphasize means when you try to give force on any incident, when you say something very emphatically, very forcefully, it is called overemphasize. So editorial says that we have seen previously when we developed SARS or MERS vaccine, then results were that we saw some side effects of these vaccines. We saw some side effects of these vaccines, but at this time when we are developing coronavirus vaccine, if we want to avoid side effects of coronavirus vaccine, then it is our duty that we should strictly monitor all the safety measures. We should strictly measure all the safety measures. So that is why vaccines cannot be overemphasized. So editorial says that if we are continuously saying that no, we should remain vigilant, we should remain cautious, so it is not exaggeration. So it is not exaggeration. It is a simple fact that we must be careful. Efforts to accelerate clinical trials. Accelerate means to increase. Clinical trials should not rely on. Rely on means depend on. Rely on means depend on. Shortening the follow-up period. Again here it is repeated. Follow-up period means to check the progress of something continuously. If you have given coronavirus vaccine to a patient, then you must repeatedly check that patient. That you should check, or you should assess that what is the progress of that vaccine, whether the patient is improving in health or not. So efforts to accelerate clinical trials should not rely on, we should not depend on shortening, we should not reduce the follow-up period. We should not reduce the follow-up period or bypassing. What is bypassing? Bypassing means overlooking, means taking shortcuts. Bypass means taking shortcuts. Critical steps means important steps in testing, but put in place protocols. So editorial says that we should not adopt any shortcut, we should not reduce follow-up period, but we should continuously do testing, but put in place protocols. So what are the scientific measures, what are the scientific rules and regulations? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, all the levels of testing must be adhered to. That allows the trials to seamlessly. What is seamlessly? Seamlessly means without any disturbance, continuously allows the trials to seamlessly graduate. Graduate means develop. Graduate means develop from one stage to another to next one. Graduate from one phase to another. So we should try for testing at every level. We should try for testing for coronavirus vaccine at every level. This is an acid test. What is acid test? Acid test means very important examination. Very important examination to assess the value, to determine the value of something. It is called acid test. So there is an acid test for vaccine, science and development, and the outcomes. Outcome means results. There is an acid test for vaccine, science and development. So you can say that whatever is going on in every country, it is an acid test for vaccine as well as for science and development, and the outcomes, and whatever the results are, the results will have far-reaching. Far-reaching means extensive, means comprehensive, wide-ranging, far-reaching consequence. Consequence means you can say that effect or result, either way. So whatever the results they will have a far-reaching consequence, far-reaching effect. It means they will affect every human body.